the while loop in Python. In this lecture, you will learn the looping or iterative statement. You are familiar with the conditional statement which we have learned during the last few sessions. Today we shall get into the looping statement, the iterative statement. That is the while loop. We are going to learn the while loop. Find the sum of series using the looping statement. First of all, for example, why do we need a looping statement is the question. For example, I want to print the name Sharon, say for 5 times. So how am I going to ask the computer to do that? Am I going to say print Sharon, print Sharon, print Sharon, print Sharon, print Sharon 5 times? It is meaningless. So I need to have a statement through which I tell the computer, do this, that is print Sharon 5 times. So how am I going to do that? So let us see. So before that, let us get into what is called the flowchart symbols, which you are very familiar with. This is for start and end of the program. This is for variable declaration. Of course, we don't use it in Python at the beginning, but in C we use that because we need to declare variables, but this is needed for the processing part of it. This is for input output. Whenever I input some numbers or some strings or whatever information data, I need to use this symbol, this box to input and output. And here this is the if condition, for the conditional statement. We have done that if else, if elif else, etc. So now we come to today, we go through what is called the while statement. It is nothing but the extended if. Therefore we are using almost the same, we are extending it, and while statement will come here. As you see, this is the looping here, loop, and some statements will come here which are done inside this loop, Let us check and see. Again, go back to this same question of printing the name Ashok or Sharun or whatever it is for 5 times. So in English I would say, therefore, do whatever is here 5 times. This is in English. So how am I going to convert that into a pseudocode and then into a Python statement is the question. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it prints 5 times. That is in English, but that will not work in Python. So let us see. Then I could say as long as, so I have initialized I value to 1. Then I say as long as I value is less than equal to 5, print Sharon. So then I increment the value of I, that goes there. I becomes 2, I becomes 3, I becomes 4, I becomes 5. Then the condition after, then comes a 5, then I becomes 6, then the condition is not true. It comes out of the loop. So therefore, this is the relational statement we are familiar with. So that is put here, and that gives you the condition for breaking the loop, or how many times this loop is to be executed. This is again in English, as long as I is less than equal. So for example, I is equal to 1, Sharon, then I becomes 2, then it prints, second time it prints, I becomes 3, third time it prints, I becomes 4, fourth time it prints, I becomes 5, fifth time it prints, then I becomes 6. This is not true, therefore it will come out of the loop. So this is how we do that. This is again using as long as. So we will substitute this as long as using while statement. While. So while I is less than equal to 5, print Ashok. Let us see what happens. I is equal to 1. So I is equal to 1. It has printed here. I is equal to 1 printed. Then I becomes 2. It prints for the second time. I becomes 3. It prints for the third time. I becomes 4. It prints for the fourth time. I becomes 5 here. I becomes 5 here. Comes in. It is true. Prints for the fifth time. Then here printed for the fifth time, I become 6, and this is not true. Therefore, it will come out of the loop, comes out. So this is how we are going to use while statement. This is the flow chart for that, and let us now let us see. We'll test some of the what is the output of this flow chart. So I is equal to 1. So what is, let us see, I is equal to, I is less than equal to 5. So here this time you are printing I. So it is going to print 1. Then it will, now as you see, print 1. So what is going to happen now? Then I is incremented, I becomes 2 now, so it prints 2, I becomes 3, it prints 3, I becomes 4, comes here, it prints 4, I becomes 5, it prints 5, I becomes 6, it comes out of the loop, and what is it going to print here? It is going to out of the loop, and of course I value is 6, therefore it is going to print 6. So it's very, very important to understand the looping statement and how the value of I is incremented and how the loop is broken and what is the value of I after it comes out of the loop. So this gives you an idea of that. So let us see. Now we are still with the flowchart, then we shall move into Python program. Again, there is one more flowchart here. So you should be able to find out what is this flowchart going to do. As you see here, where S is initialized to 0, T is initialized to 1, I is initialized to 1. So as you see here, I is less than, that means this, what is that, whatever is inside this loop is going to be done 5 times, and it comes out and it prints S. So I would spend some time to find out the output of this, and I've given a chart here. You use this chart to find out. So let us see, well, I'll do the first one. S is equal to 0, T is equal to 1, I is equal to 1. So I is equal to 1 here. So S is equal to S plus T. That is, T value is 1, as you see, I is equal to 1. Therefore, T value is 1, it is going to add 1 to that. Then T becomes 2 now. Then I also becomes 2. So I come to the second one. So then what happens? Already S contains 0 plus 1. What is the value of T2? So it is going to be, I value is 2 here. It is going to be 0, 1 plus 2. Now T becomes 3 and I becomes 3. I becomes 3. So I becomes 3 here. So then still less than equal to 5. So now what happens? Again, S is equal to, this is S value, 0 plus 1, then adds 3. This becomes 4. I becomes 4. As you see, I becomes 4 here. Then again it's less than equal. Again it goes on. 4 is added to that. 4 becomes 5. Here 4 becomes 5. So as you see, I becomes 5 here, and it comes here and it prints. Again adds I value of T there. T becomes 6 and I becomes 6. I becomes 6 here. I becomes 6. So it is broken. The look comes out, and what is it going to print here? It is going to print all this S value, that is you have got here 6, 10, 15. It is going to print 15 because that is the sum of all these terms. So now the question is, what is this flowchart representing? That is the question you need to ask. So as you look at, it is adding 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. It will go on. So if the value of I is going to be n, it is going to do add n numbers starting from 1. It is nothing but the sum of n natural numbers. And so this is the flow chart to find out the sum of n natural numbers. So this is what is doing. So as you see, calculate the sum of n natural numbers. So therefore, in pseudocode, so while we are going to write like this, while the relational expression is true, do this statement. You can have one statement, as in the case of print I or print name, somebody's name, or we had at least three statements there inside the while loop. So statement or statements would be there. So that is, so in Python now it is the same. While, and only there will be a colon, and as you remember, we need to indent this code inside. All the statements have to be in one column. So this is the Python. Let us work out one problem in Python, what we have done just now. For example, I is equal to 1. So when I is less than equal to 5, here print percentage d I. So it is, then I is increment. This is for incrementing. Please note, for I is equal to I plus 1, we use this increment operator. I plus equal 1. That means I is incremented by 1, I is decremented by 1. It's called increment decrement operators. We are using those operators here. So that is one. As you see, this is has to be in the same column, indented inside. So what is the output of this one? Output of this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the output of very simple Python program. We'll take one more uh, program here. One more program here. As you see, t is equal to 1, s is equal to 0, I is equal to 0. Program to find the sum of n terms of natural numbers. That is what we did just now. So how do we? So first you get the value for n. So we convert into integer, n contains that. Then I am saying as long as while I is less than equal to n, s is equal. So you add that first term 0 plus 1, you print that term, then increment that term, increment the value of I, etc., and you come out of that, and then you print the number of terms and the sum of those terms. So that is what you are going to do. For example, here I've entered 5, it is printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Then the sum, it becomes sum there, sum of 5 terms of natural numbers is equal to 15. So this is going to be the output of this program, output of this program. A few problems are there for you. So write flowchart in Python program to do this. Find the sum of natural numbers, which we have done. To program to find the sum of n terms of even series. Now this is going to be slightly difficult. You have to think a lot. 1 minus 3 plus 5. Before that, what you do is you have done it here. 1, 3, 5. So it has to be minus plus minus plus. So take some time and spend some time and find out how you are going to get minus plus minus 1. One clue is minus 1 into plus 1 into minus 1 is equal to minus 1. Minus 1 into minus 1 is equal to plus. So that is the clue I'm going to give you. So with this, I hope all of you will be able to complete these 3 series, summation of series programs. We will be dealing with a few more of series programs next. Thank you.